theories give understanding about policy making? No. Various theories have given understanding. Can we say how theories help in understanding about public policy? What do you understand, at least let's say that, what you understand from incrementalist, what you understand from rationalist? No.
Basic characteristics of policy and how to further improve the policy.
Like, do you think that the policy made in India, they are guided by such kind of theories or approach?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Yes. See, from incrementalist, basically you learn. मतलब एक होता है ना कि ओवर एंथ्यूजियाज्म होकर के डिसीजन नहीं लेना है, नहीं. Policies have their constraints. This is what we learned. The policy constraints. Plus, let's say all policies cannot be radical. Some policies would be incremental. So some decisions would be incremental rather than, and some decisions would be radical rather than incremental. Second thing is that we should try to continuously improve policy. Means there is a room for scope for improving policy. Okay. We should, before making policy, we should first inform ourselves. Before we take any such policy decision, make any policy, we should try to inform. This is how, let's say, optimal rational model talks, especially drawer model. Or bounded rational model or rational models, already you know that they will talk about perfect distribution. So, when we make any policy, policies should not be made in haste. This is how they are also saying. Policies should not be made in haste. Right. Policies should be made after proper analysis of that policy. Rationalists will tell. Right. And policies have their constraints. Incrementalists will tell. Hence, when we make any policy, we should try to take into consideration these factors. Right. Otherwise, what will happen? Policy making will suffer, and when policy making will suffer, so implementation will also suffer. They are trying to basically establish a sort of link, let's say that. Second thing is that when we say policy science, means all these theories and models, so they demand that a country should have its own policy science. Means it should have its own policy making ecosystem, means it should have adequate number of policy research institutions. Because you cannot have policy science as an institution, a visible, let's say that key aspect. Policy science is a virtual things which exist or which is created because of academic efforts of the institutions. It can be, let's say that university it can be a specialized policy research institution which should do lots of research analysis, and let's say that what institutions are doing. So even Niti Aayog, the Niti Aayog is doing a research also. It is doing research, it is also doing monitoring, it is also doing evaluation. So when you do research, monitoring, evaluation, so what happens? You create a sort of pool of resources related to policy making and policy implementation. And better the pool of resource, then you will have better policy making standards. And better policy making standards, so effective policy implementation. This we can consider. So, which we will realize that when we will talk about policy implementation challenges, when we talk policy implementation challenges, then you will realize that how there are problems also related to policy making. Policy implementation is also determined by policy formulation. The effectiveness of policy implementation is determined by also quality of policy formulation. how good we are at policy making. And macro sense, you can see that if we have problems, what policies are doing? So all these policies or theories are just trying to address, let's say that, policies and problems. So policies over a period of time should solve problems. No. Effectiveness of policy means policies should solve problem over a period of time. And if problems are not getting solved and we are formulating policy one after another, it shows that we are not able to formulate good policies or we are not able to implement them effectively. And some problems have persisted. Some problems have persisted. One is poverty. Poverty, let's say, poverty, livelihoods, social security, can we say? Similarly related to quality of education, quality of health. Is it like that? So the policies, that way macro level you can understand. And that is how, let's say, that relevance of field of public policy making. Right. So incrementalist and rationalist, this is how you should understand. Because questions are also asked which are applied in nature. Which are applied in nature. Now since rationalists and incrementalists and rationalists, they talk one extreme. Then let's say that one's advantage is disadvantage, disadvantage is advantage. Then another model which has emerged, which I try to integrate. Another model has come which has tried to integrate this. So this, let's say, when we say integrate, it has tried to integrate, let's say, and that is how we can consider about this. Integrate means they will try to overcome limitations of both, although drawer also try to overcome limitation, but there is there are three integrated model, of which one we have been expecting as it will be asked. Other two we do not expect, but you should know them, at least you should be familiar with them so that 2-3 lines you can write something relevant if it is asked at all.
Welcome to LUKMAAN IAS. Study general studies with LUKMAAN IAS for building comprehensive knowledge. GS paper 2 and 4 will be taken by S. Ansari and other papers will be covered by renowned faculties. Live classes are as effective as offline classes. The classes are highly interactive in nature. Your doubts and queries will be addressed and there will be dictation of notes. In the last 10 years, LUKMAAN IAS has set up a niche in the field of UPSC guidance.